outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. Surprise, surprise, ladies and gentlemen. The Metropolitan Police have now officially announced that they've changed their mind. They're not really going to investigate Bernard Jenkin, who's a member of the senior member of the Privileges Committee that brought down Boris Johnson. Bernard Jenkin allegedly broke the lockdown rules, and there seems to be enough evidence of a birthday party for his wife in Parliament during the lockdown, the second lockdown. And obviously, he was then reported to the police, and we talked about it since last night. The police have decided to not investigate him. Why am I not shocked? Why am I not surprised about this development? Now, this is going to raise a lot of questions, obviously, because it seems to be the police's argument is, well, again, just like what they said in the past, it's a historic issue. We don't really look into the past, that sort of nonsense, right? Or we don't really have enough reason to do it. Interesting. What about the rule of law? What about the fact, I mean, personally, I was always against those rules anyway, the lockdown rules. But the MPs who made those rules, they voted for them and they forced us to follow it. And then they became hypocrites and broke them themselves. Well, when it comes to them, I'm very much in favor of the rules, or at least the rules to be respected by them. But according to the Metropolitan Police, there's no need to investigate Bernard Jenkin, even if they had a big party with cake and drinks for his wife. So that's the reality of the situation. We also have this update from Sky News on this issue.
Police have just told Sky News that they received a report, what they call a third-party report, followed reporting of alleged breaches of the health protection regulations. The information is being assessed, they say. There is no investigation.
No investigation. They will assess the information, but there will be no investigation. And you know what? We actually talked about this earlier today, because there was another person who got into trouble for breaking the lockdown rules. And that was Keir Starmer when he had beer and curry with all his colleagues in Durham, right? And the person in charge of that investigation was Joe Farrell in Durham, in terms of the police. What happened to Joe Farrell? Well, if you watched the video earlier today on this channel, Joe Farrell's got promoted. She's now the Chief Constable of Police Scotland. She's now the Chief of Police Scotland. The same Joe Farrell who, clearly for her, Keir Starmer did nothing wrong. And now we have a similar situation with the Met Police in general. They've decided there's no real reason to investigate Keir Starmer. Let's just move on, guys. Everything is absolutely fine. Now, we've talked about the differences between the punishments for the MPs who got suspended or received some sort of punishment in Parliament over various issues. We talk about Rob Roberts, who received a few weeks suspension, 6 weeks, I believe, for sexual misconduct. Boris Johnson has now received the highest sentence ever. Obviously, he resigned before it was imposed. He was going to be suspended for 12 weeks, right? That's one example. Rob Roberts. We also talked about a couple of others. We also have another one. I completely forgot about Claudia Webb. Thanks to J. Beecher from Vote Watch. He said, on the left, you see Boris Johnson ate food with his colleagues in the social bubble, because obviously when you work during the lockdown, you're in a social bubble. Parliament investigation, and he was forced out as an MP. On the right, Claudia Webb, the Labour MP, found guilty of harassment, threatening an acid attack, and threatening to send naked pictures of a woman to her daughters. No parliamentary investigation, still an MP, no whip removed, and really no by-election was triggered. So you can see the double standards. Absolutely, you can see the double standards. When you compare Claudia Webb, Rob Roberts, Margaret Ferrier, the SNP MP, who also broke the lockdown rules, she received, they were actually, the people on the Privileges Committee, they were going to give her 9 days, some of them, 9-day suspension. At the end, she got a few weeks. But Boris Johnson was going to receive not just a 12-week suspension, but a permanent ban. They're now going to take away his pass, his parliamentary pass, even as a former MP. It's disgusting. It's a complete witch hunt. It's fascinating What's going on? Anyway, let's see the live chat. Barfly Voices says, I am shocked. Shocked. Not shocked. Griff says, left wing Met protect Remainer Tory. Imagine my shock. Discussing that just proves what they that just proves what they are. Yep, I agree. Ray says, destroy them at the ballot box, Tories and Labour, and vote Reform UK. PM79 says, of course they're not going to do their job. The whole system is corrupt and not even hidden from public view. Martin Smith also says, totally corrupt. And Def Mesa says, what is democracy? Where is democracy? Anyway, we have a lot of people saying, imagine my surprise. There seems to be a consensus in the live chat. There's some fruity language as well. It's very, very juicy. I can't really show that. Lee Grant says, nothing surprises me anymore. Yeah, so I was going to ask you guys what you think, but I can imagine what you're thinking right now. Lee says, well, it goes to say you can't trust the two main political parties, and you can't trust the police, really. So can you trust Reform UK? I think the problem is the system. The system needs to be completely reformed or shaken up, because it's not really about the party colours or a political leader. Nothing changes until you actually reform, as they say, drain the swamp of the establishment. Chris says, oh dear God, I'm from Leicester. It's shocking. Vile left red cesspit Leicester has become. Also remember the modern slaves and Keith Vaz. Yeah, what happened to Keith Vaz? What sort of punishment, right? Anyway, so Andy Wilson says, Labour members or Labour members, when or if they have the bottle to go around without police walking around holding their hands. And now you know how the top man got his job. He's in the pocket of Rishi Sunak. Yeah, he says it's called the deep state. I mean, it is that, to be fair, the British deep state, the British definition of the UK deep state includes the civil service and those who become obstacles in the civil service and the police. And of course, the rest of the Home Office and many other areas that we can't really talk about. And we have to somehow find a way or a political will to sort it out. Lacey Butcher says, top broadcast, TC, from Lacey and from the pub. Yeah, that's Lacey Butcher and Emily Hewitson. Emily Hewitson. For those of you who know, Emily Hewitson from Twitter and Lacey Butcher from Talk TV. All right. Jane says, another live? I'm late. Yeah, apologies. It was a last minute breaking news about this police investigation into Bernard Jenkin. Well, or lack of police investigation into Bernard Jenkin. They've decided not to. They're not investigating it. They will be assessing the information. They might take notes, but nothing will happen. Colin says, why can't Boris fight back? Why is he letting the likes of the Gingerwinch Rayner accuse him of lying? When are we going to see the fight back? I can assure you the fight back is happening. It's already happening, mostly behind the scenes. You're going to see, and you've seen the last day or two, grenades being thrown around from all sides. Boris Johnson is going to be, obviously, and his supporters have already started the movement inside the Tory party, inside and outside. And there are so many rumours and speculations about what the right wing of the party could do. And they are saying that this is by default a split from the Tory party, because they believe that the Conservative Party has now been completely taken over by the liberal left pro-big government wet Ramonas. So they are getting their European Union membership back, whether it's Keir Starmer or the left of the Tory party or the likes of Anna Soubry, who are no longer MPs, but they're still trying their best, Alistair Campbell and all the other nutters, Tony Blair. So yeah, the police have decided not to investigate this. And as we said earlier, if you joined late, you might have missed the beginning of the live stream. The last police officer, senior police officer who decided not to investigate a lockdown rule breaking was Joe Farrell in Durham. And when Keir Starmer and Angela Rayner and the others had beer and curry during the lockdown, and Joe Farrell got promoted. Today, we had the breaking news that Joe Farrell has now been appointed as the Chief Constable of Police Scotland. She's going to be the head of Police Scotland. the same person who decided not to investigate Keir Starmer, now the main Metropolitan Police Force have also decided not to really investigate Bernard Jenkin. It's a historic matter. We don't really look into things that happened in the past unless it's Boris Johnson. Then we're going to look into it. We're gonna start a kangaroo court, and we're going to go again. And again, it's not just about Boris Johnson. It's also about anybody else. If they find out what I did, if they find out what I did during the lockdown, or Nigel Farage or many others, if they did something, I'm not leaking. Nothing happened. There was no cake. I was ambushed by cake during the lockdown. We had fun. They will come for us. But for people like Keir Starmer or the privileged committee members, it's a historic matter. We don't really look into what happened in the past. Gray says, I think I must have broken the lockdown unlawful rules. I simply didn't listen. Yeah, they're going to come for you as well now. Great, you leaked. Peter Fox says, sounds like a fix to me. Rishi Sunak should resign now. So all this is actually helping Boris Johnson and basically anybody who's against the current regime of Rishi Sunak and Jeremy Hunt. They're not helping themselves. All these decisions, whether it's the report from Harriet Harman or now the police's decision not to investigate Bernard Jenkin, it is absolutely fascinating what's going to happen. But this channel is going to be quite busy over the next few days, weeks, and months. This summer is going to be a very, very hot summer politically, I can assure you. And we're going to be keeping you guys posted on all the developments. Anyway, let's take a break. In case some other breaking news update comes up, I will get back to you guys. You have to stay tuned. The best thing you can do is try to have the notification bell on the channel next to the subscribe button. Click on all. Even that doesn't work all the time, but if you have that on, when I do a live stream, last minute emergency one, I will be here and you will be notified, hopefully. Anyway, thank you so much to everybody in the live chat with all your comments and feedbacks. I'm Mahyar Tusi, and we are the media.